What's up? What's good, everybody? Welcome. I know it's been a long time. I know. My bad. My bad. My bad. But we finally here, and thank you to those that have been patiently waiting for this first installment of the Voice of Reason podcast. So before we get started, I'm going to need y'all, of course, to like, subscribe, share, comment, and get engaged because we going to have those real conversations here. We go cover the hard topics, the uncomfortable truths, and the debates that matter. But we are not here to argue. We all grown. We all go act grown. And we go do this respectfully because it's okay to agree to disagree. All right? It's totally fine. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and I'm just here to give my 2 cents. With that being said, it's a lot going on in the world, y'all. It's always a lot going on in the world, but we are most definitely right now living in some crazy times. Everybody out there kind of throwing their opinions around without really having the real facts or even doing their due diligence or research. So instead of arguing back and forth on Facebook and Instagram, I figure let's bring those conversations right here to the platform where we could talk about it, break it down, and try to come to some kind of understanding. But as a heads up, I'm going to let y'all know right now, I'm not always going to just go with the popular crowd or follow the popular opinion. We are here to challenge thought. So sometimes I'm going to play devil's advocate so we could kind of bring some new perspectives and kind of open our minds up and kind of think outside the box, because that's the only way we go really come to grow, learn, and really have a real understanding about what's going on around us. So again, this is the Voice of Reason podcast. I'm your host, Rob Reason, and we about to get it in. Let's go.
Think is definitely cut the off for November. Y'all better stay the fuck out of my way in these stores. I'm walking out with carts and I'm not paying for shit. Trump, if you want motherfuckers start looting, it's gonna happen. Before my kids go broke this bitch like Jock, I'm gonna be stealing like it ain't no tomorrow. I am going to go in that store, get everything I get regularly. I'm going to bag my shit up, swipe my link card, see that bitch say ain't no hidden balance on there. I'm going to walk the out.
As soon as we hit November 1st, the Trump administration says that there will be no federal food aid. So that means those SNAP benefits may soon be off the table for 1 in 8 Americans who use it. Wow. And with no end in sight to the shutdown, people are upset.
I don't know if you just straight out of tune or disconnected from reality and what's going on in the world. If you didn't get the memo, the government is currently shut down. And this has happened, a few times over the course of history and even recently, but I don't think it's been to this degree. So before we get into the topic, of course, there's two sides to every argument. We go try to cover both. Let's try to understand exactly what a government shutdown is, because I don't think a lot of people got the grasp of exactly what that means. So I kind of tried to break it down in simple terms and came up with a summary so we could get an understanding of the concept. So what exactly is a government shutdown and what causes it? Think of America like a business. Because every business have a budget. You got board members, owners, investors, and different people who all have a say in how that bread is going to get used, how the money is going to get used. And the government work the same way. You got different players. You got the president. You got the House of Representatives. And you got the Senate. And this is who you would call the board of directors for the business of America. Every year they have to agree on how to spend the country's money. And that's what we call passing the federal budget. Now, here's where the problem comes in. If these parties can't agree on how that money should be spent, what programs get funded, what cuts get made, or what priorities take the lead, then there's no approved budget to keep things running. And just like in a business, if you don't have a budget, then you can't legally spend money. That's when the business of America basically pauses. Then that's what we call a government shutdown. During that time, a lot of government services slow down or they stop completely. In this case, food stamps, cash aid, I don't know if cash aid and food stamps, I heard that. Cash aid might be continuing, but not the food stamps. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But anyhow, for sure, food stamps is not going to be getting issued in November, as you've seen in that news clip we played before we got into the segment. But yeah, federal workers might not get paid, national parks closed, small business loans get delayed, and certain agencies only keep essential operations running. So until Congress and the president reach an agreement or pass something temporary just to keep the lights on, the government stays shut down. That's basically where we at right now. And just like they said in the clip, they don't think it's no end, at least no time soon in sight. So let me just say this first. Long story short, this could be a whole nother episode. So I'm not going to go all the way into it, but I will say, and I'm not ashamed to say, that I've been there. You know, I've been on EBT. I've been on the food stamps, cash aid, Medi-Cal, all that. Now, I was in a situation where, you know, separating from my ex, I ended up with all 6 of my kids at my auntie's house back in my hometown of Vallejo. Basically had to start all the way over from scratch. So I understand the frustration because like I said, I've been there and I know how I felt when it was times that, you know, you wake up on that morning that you thinking, shit, you don't even wait until the morning. 12 o'clock midnight, 11:58, you waiting to check that card to see if you got your food stamps on there so you can get some food. You've been waiting for the last week, thugging it out, eating top ramen and hot dogs and, you know what I'm saying? So you waiting to get that food stamp money so you can, you know, restock up and get back to it. But yeah, it's been times it wasn't there because whatever form wasn't filled out or something I missed. I didn't sign something here or sign something there. So I understand because, man, that's super frustration and it throw off your whole program. And in this case, it's even worse because at least if you know, you didn't get it because of technicality, you didn't sign something or, you know, whatever the case may be, that could get fixed within a few days, couple days, whatever. But in this situation, we don't know what gonna happen. A lot of people is out there saying that it's the end of it, like it's just the end, like that's the end of SNAP. Now, I don't think it's the end of SNAP because, like I said, in the government shutdown, it just pauses everything. So I'm thinking that it's definitely a pause. They're not gonna issue nothing right now because of course, the government has to reopen, but I suppose that when the government open back up, then all that should start rolling again, which is crazy to me because let me just say this. We done seen them give all that money to Ukraine out of nowhere. All this time, we always say we don't have money for this, we don't have money for that. But, and no disrespect to nobody that's, you know, invested or got feelings or anything with that war in Ukraine, but yeah, we found a way to send all kind of millions, if not trillions of dollars over there to help them. Just pulled it out of nowhere. Same thing with COVID. When COVID came, somehow he was able to find some monies from some budget to be able to give everybody a stimulus, a few rounds of stimulus checks. Not to mention all the money that was damn near, might as well say, gave away with the PPP thing. People was getting all kinds of money. So I don't understand why, in a case like this where, millions of people is going to be impacted, just like you heard that the lady in the clip earlier, it's a lot of people that got that mentality. They not going to go without, period. And if that means that they got to go smash and grab, they got to go do what they got to do, that's exactly what they going to do. And I'm sure that the government and everybody else in those higher positions or in leadership roles, they all have that same understanding. So you would think that, they go into the emergency funds or go into whatever budgets they go into when they, bail, out other countries, or no disrespect, even with the illegal immigrants, they found ways to, at least in California, they found ways to, give them money and help them out and different things like that. So I just don't understand why they can't make sure that people is go eat and that we don't, set ourselves up for what's to come. Yeah, it just don't make no sense. It also makes me think that maybe that's what they want. I mean, it's like a pattern. It goes deep, even deeper than that. But first, let's just talk about the arguments, the all the different reactions that's going online, all the different people that's having meltdowns, and you got some people that's even like champion the fact that, hey, you guys are dependent on the taxpayers to feed your family, and it's time for you to go get a job. You're an able body, you're not handicapped, you don't have a disabled child or whatever the case may be. You've been on it for 20 years now. Don't you think it's about time? Or have you even been trying to get off of it? Because I will say, that was my motivation. I hated having to depend on that, man. I hated being at the mercy of the government. It wasn't enough anyways. Like, it was a miracle. It is a miracle how some families and parents out there is even able to survive off of that little bit of crumbs you get. But it's almost a setup. I mean, you got to be damn near poor to get help. And when you get yourself in a situation where you get a job, you're making a little bit of money, it still ain't enough for you to do what you need to do. You're still barely making it, and pension, pennies and check to check. But at the same time, at that point, they saying you make too much to get help. So it's like a lose-lose situation. You got some people that's milking the system. People out there selling their food stamps. People that just straight up fraud to get the money, get the help and stuff, and that hurts stuff too. And it's sad that some people actually are in a mind state where instead of going out and just trying to find a job or get some education to better themselves, they just find different ways to work the system, and which is crazy because when you're doing all that, that's a whole lot of work too. Like, that's so much work. You sitting up in county buildings all day. You filling out all kind of paperwork, month after month. Yeah, it's a lot. You know, some people some people got to do it though. And I could understand that, Trump or whoever, they trying to clean things up. The homelessness, the crime, all that or whatever. But this is where my problem come in, because it's like I said, you got people that's actually working and still can't afford to pay a rent nowhere. So they homeless. You got a lot of people that's out there working, homeless people. It's not a lot of jobs out there that's go pay a salary that's really going to allow you to survive, especially in California with just the rates and just how the economy is out here is ridiculous. So it's just crazy. So until you can help and provide some alternatives and find some way to help people get jobs, and then you really can't blame them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really hard out here, and it's just crazy, man, that they allow something like this to happen. But yeah, like I said, if you ask me, it's a setup. It's even deeper than that. It's a pattern to it. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the rich versus the poor. No middleman. They trying to cut the middleman out. You either go be rich or you go be poor. Now, when I talk about the patterns, now this is just my thoughts and how I'm looking at stuff, just sharing it with y'all. This ain't no facts or nothing, so don't take my word for it. And if I'm speaking something incorrect, check me on it. But anyways, it's a pattern, and it go back. Let's just start from COVID. When COVID came, we seen something we never seen happen ever. They basically shut the country down. Stores was closed. You couldn't go to the store. You had to stay locked in the house. You had to stay 6 feet away from people. During that time also, it was like a lot of riots happening, the George Floyd and the police stuff that was going on. So America was in an uproar. If I'm not mistaken, that's the first time I seen the National Guard start getting deployed out into, the cities right here in our country to so-called get control of stuff. So it started there. It's like a test run almost. Let's see what happens if we shut the world down. Let's see. They exploit situations like that, with the virus coming in and being a pandemic and all that. They exploit that and then do dress rehearsals. Let's shut everything down. Let's see how far we could go with this, with that. And during that whole time, the rich is getting richer. And the only ones that's being affected really is the unfortunate. Now, fast forward. We got schools closing like crazy. We got crime is just out of hand. Not only schools, but stores. The Safeway that had been open by my house for years just closed. All these different stores and chains are just closing. Where can you go buy food anyway? You got, talking about jobs, you got this AI boom happening. AI is taking all the jobs. So you go to McDonald's, you got a kiosk on there, you can order yourself. You damn near don't even got to go to the register no more. You go to the store. Some stores don't even have a cashier. Everything is self-checked, so you don't even got to deal with nobody. So they're eliminating all the jobs, closing all the schools, and then when we go into the uproar, they send a National Guard in to clean us up, get us up out of here. Not to mention all these smart cities that they got planned, that they go start building, and all this different development plans that they got to start turning, these cities into these futuristic, smart, high-tech cities and all that. And ain't no room for the middleman or the poor in that kind of system. For years they've been thriving and profiting off of the suffering and off of the backs of the poor. It almost seems like now they feel like they don't need us no more. And I said us because, I'm a part of that too. I'm just barely making it. I'm in that middleman space. And, it gets scary when you think about what's going on. But at the same time, let me just say this, we all need to be prepared. Y'all need to start preparing. All this stuff, you can't depend on the government. Not for too long. For nothing. Never have. With none of the presidents long before Trump. Right? And not only that, Trump's been president before. When we seen Trump get elected the first time, that should have been a lesson then that you never know who go be in office, what's go happen, and you start to learn that our best interests really don't matter. So at some point, you got to start getting prepared. I think as a community, we need to start getting a little bit more prepared. We need to have a little more ownership. If we had our own grocery stores, we had our own farms, gardens and stuff like that, we'd be able to self-sustain. We wouldn't have to depend on the government so much, at least to eat and different things like that. There's ways that, you could build and prepare. Like for a natural disaster. What if an earthquake, the big one, come tear everything up? If you ain't prepared, you don't got canned foods, first aid, water, and all that stuff, you screwed. So I look at it the same way when it comes to politics and the government. It's just a natural disaster waiting to happen. And you have to prepare to the best of your ability. You have to get prepared to the best of your ability. But it's gonna get crazy, y'all. I don't even know what else to say. But this is the Voice of Reason podcast. Tell me what y'all think about it. Hit me in the comments. Again, make sure y'all like, make sure y'all share, make sure y'all subscribe so you don't miss out on none of the upcoming content. I'm gonna be bringing it on a consistent basis, back-to-back bangers. So yeah, let's set it off. This was the first installment. I think on the next episode we're gonna talk about if we over celebrate celebrity culture. So yeah, that'll be the next episode. Right now, we signing off. We'll piggyback on this topic on another episode. So until then, holla at y'all, man. Peace.